Grey County.
Good morning, Viveka. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. We're here at City Hall.
Yes, welcome.
Your stomping grounds, right?
My stomping grounds. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I'm really excited to show you around today.
Awesome. What do you do here?
I am the Community Development Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And that means a lot of different things. And we'll learn a little bit more about that as we go on today. But basically, I work with the River District Board of Management to execute events. I manage the website and the social media. I communicate with the River District Board of Management for a lot of different initiatives and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of put it all in one place.
We work together on the board.
We work together.
Yes,
yeah.
You're a little firecracker. We love you.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me on today.
Oh,
I
no
know
worries.
Diane is away, so
Yeah, she said don't do really well because she wants to come back to this show. So
well, of course, it's her show. It's your show. I'm just here as a place filler. That's it. And to show you around my employment home a little bit.
Yes, so where are we going to go first?
So we're going to take a look at City Hall in two parts. Okay. So City Hall is kind of split into two different sections. One is corporate services and one is community development and community and things like that. And on one side, you've got your water billing and all that kind of thing. Other side, we've got building and parks and me and events and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk to a couple of people on both sides. Just introduce you around a little bit. We're going to talk to a couple people in senior leadership, and we're going to talk to our city clerk a little bit about the election.
Yes, that's coming up.
It is
quickly.
coming up. It is. So we're going to let you know a couple of details about how to get on the voters list and make sure that you can be part of that, because ultimately it's our community who makes decisions about how this city gets run and decisions that get made. So It's really important.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started.
Awesome. Well, come on.
Okay.
So Lois, I wanted to introduce you to Brianna Bloomfield, the Owen Sound City Clerk, and Jamie Ekmansweiler, our Deputy Clerk.
Nice to meet you.
So these guys right here, they are our gurus for the election coming up. And I know that you had a couple of questions regarding the election. So I brought you right to the source.
Awesome. You are very busy down here getting ready, right?
Yes.
So my question was, I haven't received a voter card yet. So what's the process? Do I go make sure I'm on the list, or what do I do? Do you want to take this one?
Certainly. So the voter cards were mailed last week, so voters can expect to receive those this week sometime. Certainly you can come to City Hall to our Election Help Center to check to see if you're on the voters list. If you don't have a voter card, we can issue you one here.
Like right away?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay, very good. And when are we voting? What's the time frame?
So the voting period is from October 14th, so Friday, October 14th at 10 a.m. and it runs straight through until Monday, October 24th at 8 p.m. And you can vote 24 hours a day during that 10-day time frame. And
how would I do that?
So you just need that voter information letter that Jamie mentioned. And if you don't have it, make sure you bring some ID in when you come to get your voter information letter.
Okay. So can I still vote in person, or is it all strictly phone and internet voting?
There's lots of options. So you can do it by internet or telephone. Those are our voting methods this election, but we do have help centers where you can come in person to vote, and you will be using an electronic method when you come to vote in person.
Okay, and it'll be well signed when I come into City Hall where we go, and okay.
Absolutely, and we have two locations for our Election Help Center. So we'll have the basement room here, and then we'll also do Heritage Place Mall on the weekends.
Oh, very good.
And on voting day.
Okay, so is that what you're setting up here right now, is an election help center type thing or a voting station?
Today we're getting set up for training of all our election officials.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I know that you're concerned that you're not on the voters list.
Yes.
So what we're going to do before you leave is go up to this voter help station that you were talking about and make sure you're there.
Okay.
All right?
All right, let's
Great.
do that.
Thank you so much. Let's go see Adam.
Okay.
So Lois, I wanted you to meet my friend Adam here. He's the manager of parks and open spaces, and he gets to do a lot of really cool stuff. So I thought it was important that you meet him today and maybe ask him a couple of questions.
Sure, sounds good. Nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you too.
So what do you do here for...
Well, as a general overview, Parks and Open Space is responsible for parks, of course, management of trails, sports fields. We look after parks and green spaces, forestry for the whole city on throughout roads and parks. We also operate the cemetery under the Parks and Open Space umbrella. We're responsible for beautification in the downtown or in River District, and we are also have a fairly aggressive capital program most years.
Oh, you're a busy man.
Yep.
That's a lot of stuff.
I have to keep a lot of balls in the air generally, and but I have an incredible group that supports me in the park staff and a couple of people out there on the front line making sure that all those things happen in the way we expect them to. So without those people out there doing the great work that they do, I am of no value. So
Don't say that.
Yeah.
So you've been working on some really great projects as recently, and there's some great things coming to Owen Sound as a whole in our public spaces and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. So a couple of interesting projects. I have two heritage building renovations on the go this year. One is a cabin at Harrison Park in the campground. It was a underutilized space, very passive building, but still listed. The property is listed as a designated heritage property, which makes all the buildings on the property
Is that by
heritage.
the pool?
It's close to the pool. It's kind of central in the campground.
Okay.
And so we're taking that underutilized space and converting it into a cabin that can be rented as accommodation at the campground, and kind of buying into this trend of higher end camping and offering more
glamping.
of a glamping and offering more of a premium option there, along with the tent and trailer sites that we have.
That's cool.
That project is well underway, and we'd expect it to be complete by December or so and ready for rental in the 2023 camping season. So the other heritage building renovation that we're working on is the chapel at Greenwood Cemetery. So that chapel is another space that was underutilized. It had been used as a workshop 20 years ago and then had just been passive storage space ever since. We're working on completing detailed design for a construction tender to renovate that space into indoor columbarium and quiet space for contemplation, as well as space to offer indoor services if the weather is bad. So another great project to return a heritage building that was not being utilized to the community.
Well, thank you so much, Adam, for spending time with us today. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
For sure.
And thanks for doing everything that you do for the city.
More than welcome. I really do like my job, and it's an exciting thing to do most days. So
It definitely shows. Yeah.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Raven Reads. Unbox Indigenous voices. Subscribe today at ravenreads.org.
Smudging is a very important part in our life as we're all learning to walk the good way. When we smudge, we use the sacred medicine, the white sage, the sweetgrass, the tobacco, and the cedar. It cleanses negative energy and replaces it by a positive energy. When I smudge, I cleanse my end and my eagle feather and start cleansing my breath to have better words. I will smudge my eyes so I could see the better things offered to me. I will smudge my ears to hear the good thing that people have to say. I will smudge my hair to have good thinking from my head. I will bring the smudge to my feet so I could walk in respect with our Mother, the Earth. Smudging is the way we give our prayers to connect our spirit to the Creator. We express gratitude for the gift of life, the learning, and growth.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to It's Happening Here. We're at Owen Sound City Hall today.
Let's go back inside and continue our interviews.
Okay.
So Lois, welcome to the Service Owen Sound desk. Here is where you can do just about everything you need to with City Hall as a taxpayer for the city. Everything from finding some tourism brochures and things like that, especially in the off season when our visitor center is closed, which closes on the holiday weekend. And you can also get things like a marriage license here or a business license. And to do that, it's just over at the other end of the counter. And then you can do things like buy garbage bag tags and pay your water bill.
So what about downtown parking?
So downtown parking in the River District is free. You've got 2-hour on-street parking and 5-hour in the municipal lots. You can find all of the parking on the owensoundriverdistrict.ca website, as well as on the City of Owen Sound website. So there's tons of free parking for everybody.
So if I'm working downtown though and want a parking pass, is this something that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to go beyond the 2 hours and the 5 hours, you can absolutely buy a monthly parking pass, and you would do that at this counter.
Okay, and how much is that?
Well, I'm not too sure. I'm wondering whether or not you happen to know off by.
Yes, monthly parking pass is $30.
$30.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty reasonable.
That's like one day in Toronto.
Oh my goodness,
right?
Yes. Yeah, for a couple of hours for sure. And so basically anything that you need to do to engage with the city in terms of, business licenses and all sorts of things, you're going to come to this counter. Okay. For an example, I recently bought a home. I'm on Owen Sound Water. I had no idea what I was doing, so I came to this counter and I had a conversation, and we got me on the billing system for it. And it was all very easy, very streamlined, and you've got a bunch of friendly faces here.
Is there a phone number, or do you have to come in to do all this?
So the main phone number for City Hall is 519-376-4440. Alternatively, you can check all of this information on owensound.ca website. And of course, you can do a lot of your billing through your bank as well. So
right, like taxes you can do online.
Absolutely, right. Absolutely. But these people are here to make sure that you know how to do that, and sometimes they'll guide you on how to get there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So is this where I go for the voter list as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So we've got Jamie set up over here.
Okay.
And he's going to help you to double check to see whether or not you're on the voters list.
Okay. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Lois. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So you've got me all set up here.
Absolutely. So as a voter, if you'd like some information on the upcoming 2022 school board and municipal election, you would go to owensoundvotes.ca. So from there, you can see there's information for voters, candidates, third-party advertisers, and there's also key dates and events. If you want to check to see if you're on the voters list, you just have to scroll down a little bit and then click on the little box here that says voters list.
Okay.
So what that will do then is bring you to this next page where you can enter your first name, last name, your date of birth, and your street address.
Okay.
So Jamie, can you tell us how long we have until we can't check to see whether or not we're on the voters list anymore?
Certainly. So voters can check to see if they're on the voters list up until the voting period ends. So election day is on October 24th, and the election closes at 8 p.m. So we'd recommend that you go on there and check prior to October 24th at 8 p.m.
Okay, so you have this computer available for people to come in and do this if they don't have access to a computer themselves or aren't particularly comfortable with the technology.
Absolutely. You can come into City Hall. You can do it online at home. We do have an election phone number as well.
Okay, what's that?
That's 519-370-7340.
And Lois?
I'm registered to vote.
Oh, fantastic. She's on the voters list.
I am on the voters list, and I like how it's got who are my candidates. So you can go down. In case you forget.
No worries. Yeah, it's just important that.
That's very cool. Awesome. Okay.
And Lois, if you weren't on the list, this is where we would add you as well. So we would just
okay.
need you to provide us with a piece of ID. It doesn't have to have a photo, but we would just need something, and then we could get you added to the list if you weren't already there.
Okay, so I'll just wait for my card that's coming in the mail, and all the instructions will be on there. And
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And so if I'm not comfortable with the technology, I can come into City Hall, and you guys have this desk set up here to give me a hand to make sure that I'm on the voters list
We absolutely
prior
do.
to the election.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, this seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody
easy.
should probably check to make sure they're on the voters list.
Yes, absolutely. And it's super easy.
Yeah, so owensoundvotes.ca.
owensoundvotes.ca.
Let's check it out.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, Vivica, you don't have to introduce me to this fine lady.
Perfect. I'll sit here in complete silence.
Pam Coulter, one of my favorite people. How are you?
Thanks, Lois. Yeah. Oh, I'm great. Yeah. Thanks for coming in today.
Well, thanks for having us. We've barged in unannounced, created quite the ruckus here in City Hall today, but we couldn't leave without having a conversation with you, because you, as the Director of Community Services, have your hand on a lot of projects that are going on. So, yeah.
I see you a lot with the River District. You're heavily involved.
Yeah, for sure. We're really excited about kind of our new partnership with the River District Board of Management, and obviously having Vivica on board to really run with that plan that was the effort between the city and the board. So really amazing and great things happening. We're seeing, the results of the start of that work with increased pedestrian counts and decreasing vacancy, and social media followers are up. So, those metrics are showing good things and really more to come. So.
Oh, it's been exciting downtown. From the bands coming on Thursday and Friday at lunch hour to just the whole new market building.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is great. And, that's the first phase of 4 phases in the downtown. And, the next phase is the 900 block of First Avenue East. And I think, of all the 4 blocks, I think that will be the one that's the most transformative. I think, with the addition of a Riverwalk boardwalk along there, the catenary lighting, I just think that space will be so changed, and it will have just, it'll continue the positive impact of that project on the downtown. So
I have seen that plan.
Yeah.
And it looks so amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing. Because right now it's
an alley. It's a parking alley
with parking.
Right.
Rear access to some businesses that they use for their employees and things like that. But it's an underutilized space. Right on the river.
Right on the river.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, no, this plan is definitely going to put a lot of things into action and give us a really cool space to utilize for. Well, I'm not going to tell you, but I've got some plans.
Okay, amazing.
So what's the timeline for this?
Yeah, so we're just working on doing a few final tweaks to the design, hopefully tender it early in 2023, and construction will start kind of as soon as construction can start. So maybe March or April 2023. So really looking forward. Just next year. So yeah, and so hopefully the project will be done late in the summer, and we'll be able to enjoy that space. So really, that'll be an amazing project next summer to look forward to.
Oh yeah, the walking trail with the cool lighting that's going to go up.
Yeah. If you go back as long as you and I, Lois, you probably remember when the train used to come through there and over 10th Street, and so some of the design elements kind of harken back to the railway that went through there, and it's only 40 feet wide. So having the cooperation of the people with stores along, to let us have the boardwalk there has been huge. So, it's been a real cooperative effort with those businesses, and so we're looking forward to getting that going for them.
Well, it's only good for them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To generate more foot traffic,
right.
more people to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think having the positive impact of phase 1 has really created some credibility. If we'd started with that one, maybe it would have been a little bit harder, but I think everyone seeing the results of phase 1 have really, made people get on board, like you.
Yeah.
Made it easy for us. So.
Oh, for sure. Is there going to be a place to launch kayaks and stuff down there? Do you know?
No formal kayak launch. I guess we would do that at the West Side Boat Launch, which was really a happening spot this summer too. So with the new patio down there and the food truck, that was kind of a fun place to hang out after work.
Great spot. I took the dogs down there. We walked down, had poutine, which was like huge. Remember? Oh, you weren't with me. It was Diane.
I am not Diane, but I am always up for poutine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was Bombshell Stella's.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so really kind of a lot of people around down at the boat launch this year, so that was amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then there's always the boat launch behind the Bayshore, and if you want to be a little more adventurous, out kind of at 32nd Street at the turn to the soccer complex, there's a little launch there too. So,
there is.
Yeah, lots of places to access the water in Owen Sound.
To get your kayak or canoe in the water, which it's an amazing way to see the city, right? It's a whole new perspective if you can kayak along the shore and under the bridges and come up through downtown that way. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law lives along the river, so
Okay.
yeah.
Nice to wave at them from back
Yeah,
there.
well, it is funny because it is quite a hill, so I'm like, I think that's where they live.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what other
that's good.
projects are you working on, Pam, that you can share with us? Any other information that you're, allowed to tell us? We spoke
Okay.
to Adam about a lot of the parks and open
Awesome.
spaces that
Yeah.
you kind of help to oversee as well.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else that you can give us,
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm really looking forward to kind of in the darker winter months is Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada. And having seen that event take place in Yellowknife, I am really looking forward to that and what it'll mean for this community. And, what you see if you watch on TV is our community. It will be focused, the feature on Saturday, January 21st. But leading up to that, just some real amazing community days. It will involve children. It'll involve communities around Owen Sound. And it's just a real special time to really celebrate the history of hockey in this community, but just about community and celebrating who we are and sharing that with the world really on Saturday. So
and
so
it's 3
excited.
years in the making.
3 years in the making.
Wow.
We're going to do it this year.
This event is happening,
Yeah,
and it's
this
going to
event's-
be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we've got you've got a killer team working on that event right
We
now.
sure do.
And people should kind of stay tuned for all of the promotion that's going to be around that rolling out
Absolutely.
shortly, really.
Yeah, tickets will go back on sale early, coming up later this fall, and we're looking forward to the event in January.
So they get the tickets through the Attack?
Through the Attack box,
Okay.
box office, and yes, sure, watch our website for updates.
Yes, owensound.ca, and make sure you check out owensoundriverdistrict.ca and at River District OS for updates on the DRP and all of those kinds of projects that are happening as well. So
Super.
thank you so much, Pam, for taking this time to
great.
meet with us
It's good
today.
to see you again.
Thanks for stopping by. It was fun.
Awesome.
Great.
So Lois, this is my side of City Hall. This is where I get all my work done. And this is the community services counter. So here you can find things from, building, community development, tourism, events, facilities and property, parks and open spaces. And of course, we've got our building officials here that I wanted to introduce you to. We've got Kevin Linthorne, our chief building official.
Good morning.
And Kayla Heineman. I know you. We sit next to each other. Who is our deputy chief building official, and they can tell us
Good
a little
for
bit
you.
about what they do on this side of things and why you might want to come to this counter versus our services counter. So, hi guys, thanks for coming. All the way from over there.
So if I wanted to build something, I have to get a building permit, right?
Generally, yes, you'll need a building permit depending on the project.
Okay.
The Ontario Building Code has recently changed that if you are building a shed, you do not need a permit if it's under 10 by 15 or 150 square feet. It does still have to meet our zoning regulations, which would be a reason to come to our counter and talk to our planning and zoning staff.
Oh, so that means like where you're placing the shed.
Right.
Sort of thing. Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
so I can't just place it anywhere I want.
No, that's frowned upon.
I learn things every day working here.
But for a deck, I would still need a permit.
Yes, so for a deck, you would come in, you'd bring us a copy of the building permit application filled out. We would require a drawing of the proposed deck. We'd also need your site plan. And then that would go through our planning department for site plan approval, and then off to our inspectors who would do a plan review and make any changes to your proposed design, and then we would issue a permit.
Okay.
Okay, so when I'm done building it, do you guys always come out and inspect it afterwards and things like that, or is it on a by case basis?
Sure, depends on the project. So
Okay.
just take as a deck as for example. So you'll typically have 3 different inspections for a deck. You'll have your footings if you're doing piers, sonotubes, helical piles, depending on what you're using for supports. Then you'll have a framing inspection once everything's framed in before you put your deck boards on top. And then a final once your deck boards and all your railings have been installed, any stairs, any features that are included with your deck, then we'll come and check it at the end and close off your permit.
Oh.
So they do this like in a timely manner, like I'm not waiting for weeks for you to come sort of thing, right?
There is prescribed timeframes in the building code that we have to act by. I tend to pride ourselves on beating those time frames quite handily here in Owen Sound.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't a day where, this one's not out looking at something somewhere and stuff like that. And then she comes back with various stories to regale us with. So it's always great. And she's always got her work boots on.
Yeah,
to make
she's
sure
ready.
that she's ready to go.
Every day is a new task.
Yeah, and you get to drive some of the electric cars for the fleet, right?
Yeah, they're awesome. They obviously they don't take gas, full electric. They last mostly a week, maybe 2 weeks, just for in-town driving, about 500 kilometers in the summer, a little bit less in the winter due to your heat and your heated seats and everything.
Okay.
So they've been really great.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I don't know if you knew that a lot of the Owen Sound fleet of vehicles is actually electric and going electric, like everybody kind of has to these days. So if you see those little white electric cars zooming around town with the logo on it, it could be these guys, it could be Bylaw, a lot of different stuff. So it's really cool, and they're really cool little cars.
Yeah, they're quiet.
They're
Yes.
very quiet.
Yes.
Too quiet sometimes. People don't hear you when you're behind them.
Which can be a really fun joke to play. But this is why I'm not allowed to have the keys. Anyways, so I wanted to say thank you so much. Is there any, projects that you guys are working on that right now that you wanted to tell us about or anything?
So we've got some really exciting projects coming. There's lots of new development that we're looking at happening here in Owen Sound. We've just issued a permit for a new McDonald's up on 16th Avenue or Highway 26 across from the Home Depot. We're looking at issuing some permits shortly for a new housing development on the East Harbour Wall. What else?
We've got the 5-story apartment buildings over on 28th Street, 79 units. They're mostly 2-bedroom units, I think.
So tons of housing happening.
Tons of housing and tons of development proposals coming through the appropriate channels right now.
Yeah, Owen Sound is growing and flourishing, and these guys make sure that it's safe and secure for all of us.
That's
good.
Yeah.
Place you want to live.
Shameless plug. For sure, absolutely. So I wanted to say thank you to you so much for letting me come and fill in for Diane. I mean, they're really big shoes. Actually, they're little shoes, but they are big shoes to fill metaphorically. And I'm so happy to be here, and wanted to, do a quick shout out for the River District election that is coming up. So anybody who wants to, fill out their nomination papers, they have until the end of this week, so October 7th to do that. And you can find all of the information for all of those things on our websites. Also, make sure you check us out. Well, I mean, I'm ensured that you follow us on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at River District OS. And we have a couple of events coming up, so you're going to be part of those as well.
I am,
Yes, and hopefully we can get the Chamber in general involved as well with Holiday Magic, which is coming up on November 19th. It kind of houses the Santa Claus Parade by the Kiwanis and the Festival of Northern Lights, and that one big encompassing shopping night for the family. And then, of course, we've got our Moonlight Madness event coming up on December 9th, which is, shopping. Get all that holiday shopping done and get it done local.
Yes. Thank you for all you do, Vivica. You're amazing for downtown. We're very, very lucky to have you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I've loved doing this. I'm not shy in front of a camera, and I like to get any chance I can, which you know.
Well, thanks again. And hopefully we get to work with each other again soon.
Absolutely.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Sahai from The Wiggles, and this is my new book, Something in Common. Join me on an adventure as a camp counsellor helping some amazing children make friends and share what family means to them. I wrote this book with my friends at Children's Aid Foundation of Canada to help children who might feel lonely or like they don't belong. Not everyone has the same type of family, but we all have something in common. Download Something in Common for free.
Here we go.
Believe me, you've never heard a talk show like this.
I'm sleeping with Joe Carter. By the way, Joe did not touch them all.
Yeah.
I have to say, your voice is fantastic.
Me, Smitty.